Yes!
No differently than any other season post-season of the Undying, Destiny 2 once again brings us another seasonal activity. In Season of the Hunt, we'll be tracking down and killing enemy faction bosses via activities known as Wrathborn Hunts. And in this video, I'll be filling you in on what Wrathborn Hunts are, as well as how you will be obtaining weapons and armor from them. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it in. First things first, if you haven't already done it, you'll want to visit the moon and start the mission on this Trail of the Hunted. If you don't do this, you won't be able to obtain the Cryptolith Lure and start the Wrathborn Hunt missions. I won't talk about what happens in this mission because it contains a bunch of spoilers, but after the mission ends, you'll become better acquainted with the Crow. If you're a Destiny 1 vet, or if you've been around since the Destiny 2 Forsaken era, you're fully aware of who this individual is. But anyways, the Crow will be the vendor for anything Cryptolith Lure and or Wrathborn Hunt and Wrathborn oriented. You can find the Crow in the spider's lair, literally right around the corner to the left of the spider. The Crow sells bounties like almost every other vendor in the game, but you will mostly be visiting him to cash in a currency known as recon data. And after every time you turn in 20 recon data, you will be rewarded with an engram that'll grant you various rewards consisting of Wild Hunt armor and weapons and Cryptolith Lure mods. The weapons that can drop from this engram consist of the Blast B2 heavy grenade launcher, the Royal Chase scout rifle, the Friction Fire submachine gun, the Corsair's Wrath linear fusion rifle, and the Deafening Whisper breech loaded grenade launcher. Every 20 recon data will increase your rank with the Crow, and every 2 rank ups will enable you to purchase a Cryptolith Lure upgrade. Each of these lure upgrades have their own very beneficial purpose, and after unlocking the 6 that are currently available, you will come to find out that Wrathborn Hunts will be very much worth your time. I also wanted to point out the fact that the Hive-made Monster Triumph states that there are 7 Cryptolith Lure upgrades, so it's definitely safe to say that Bungie is saving the final upgrade for later on in the season. Okay, so I mentioned the Cryptolith Lure a couple of times, but what exactly does it do and what is it? The Cryptolith Lure is referred to as a modified Hive artifact, and its sole purpose is to attract powerful enemies known as Wrathborn, which will be explained later. Now if you look at the 3 slots at the bottom of the screen after selecting the Cryptolith Lure and your quest log, you will find out that the slot on the left, referred to as the Prey Mod slot, is what enables you to pick a Wrathborn to hunt. At the time that this video is going live, there are 4 different Wrathborn consisting of the Fallen Captain Savik, the Fallen Heavy Shank HKD1, the Hive Knight Dueler Wrath, and the Hive Wizard Zilox. Now it hasn't been confirmed if more Wrathborn bosses will be added later though. Now, the middle slot is called the Weak Mutation slot, and here you will find mods that affect the attributes of your weapons and armor. For example, the Armor Trophy Mobility mod causes armor obtained from a Wrathborn Hunt to roll with higher mobility. And the Stability Trophy mod will guarantee weapons obtained from killing a Wrathborn will have a Stability Masterwork. Now, the most interesting of these mods to me would be the Trophy Veto mods, which will exclude certain perks from rolling on weapons dropped from defeating Wrathborn. Combining this with being able to pick your weapon's masterwork will facilitate the process of obtaining that perfect roll that you're looking for. And last but not least, the Strong Mutation slot is the home of the mods that enable your armor to roll with higher ability cooldown attributes such as Intellect and Discipline, for example. Alright, so now let's talk about the Wrathborn and how to hunt them down and defeat them. Savik and HKD1 are found on the Tangled Shore, while Dueler Wrath and Zilox are found in the Dreaming City. If you inspect your Cryptolith Lure and your quest log, you will notice that it has a percentage meter and a number beneath it, stating how many lure charges you have. In order to charge the lure, you will have to complete match-made activities such as strikes, PvP, and Gambit, and if I'm not mistaken, public events on Europa contribute as well. I've done public events in other destinations and they didn't count, so I'm not for sure if this is intentional or not, but anyways, I've come to realize that the fastest way to charge the lure is PvP because I was getting 50% progress after every match. Now, when it comes to the store lure charges, every time you get that percentage meter to 100%, you will be able to hang on to it. So be advised that if you don't have a lure with slotted mods and no stored lure charges, you have to complete match-made activities until you charge it again, because an uncharged Cryptolith Lure cannot summon Wrathborn. After charging your Cryptolith Lure, you will be granted the ability to select the Wrathborn you want to hunt by slotting its respective mod into the Prey Mod slot. From there, you will want to follow the icon marked on your map and interact with the giant hive biomass tree looking thing, which will summon either a hive, ogre, or a fallen servitor after slamming your Cryptolith Lure into the ground. If it's one of the fallen Wrathborn Hunts, it'll be a servitor, and if it's one of the hive Wrathborn Hunts, it'll be an ogre. But yeah, after beating these enemies within an inch of their lives, they'll flee and leave behind a green trail. Following this green trail will lead you to the real Wrathborn Hunt. Now when you arrive, you'll be greeted by a few ads before the ogre or servitor responds with the same health that you left it at before it fled. Killing it will summon whichever one of the 4 Wrathborn bosses that you selected. Now I'll let it be known that these bosses are by no means difficult. I mean, I've killed every last one of them solo and only did Wrathborn Hunts and a fire team a single time. But despite the fact that they aren't difficult to kill, there's a small mechanic that you gotta pay attention to or else you won't be able to damage the Wrathborn at all. And when the Wrathborn is summoned, it'll be shrouded by a white aura, making it impervious to damage until you kill an enemy in the vicinity covered in the same green smoke essence that the trail that led you here was composed of. Killing this enemy will leave behind a green pit that will grant you the Wrathful buff, which will enable you to damage the Wrathborn. If you stay in this pit, you will maintain the buff, but stepping out of it will only grant you the buff for about 5 seconds, and when that timer runs out, you won't be able to damage the Wrathborn again, unless you end up killing another enemy with that same green smoke essence around it and stay in the pit again. I figured that was obvious, but I felt the need to explain that. This is the reason why I would suggest bringing your heaviest hitting weapons and supers to kill the Wrathborn quickly. But yeah, after the Wrathborn is defeated, you'll be rewarded with loot corresponding to how your Cryptolith Lure was modded. If you scroll over to each Wrathborn's icon under the Prey mod slot, you will notice that each of them has a different item that they can drop. These items are always random and change every time you kill a Wrathborn, and as far as I'm concerned, there's literally no purposeful way to make these items rotate. So if you're after a certain weapon, you'll have to keep doing the Wrathborn hunts until that weapon cycles in as one of the possible drops. This might be incredibly obvious, but make sure that if you're going after a certain weapon, select exactly that particular Wrathborn. Because say for example, if Zilox was the only one capable of dropping a friction fire, and Savik was dropping a royal chase, and you were after the friction fire, but you picked Savik, well that sucks because you're getting a royal chase. So make sure you pay attention to what bosses drop in certain items. Well everybody, that does it for this one. I really enjoyed putting this guide together, and I hope that this video will make obtaining that warden seal easier for you. Anyways, if you made it to the end of this video and enjoyed what you watched, do me a favor and thumb wrestle that like button until it turns blue. And if you're new to my neck of the woods, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon so you don't miss a video of the most elite gaming content. But with that being stated, 1LHD is over and out. Y'all take it easy.